Hola amigos, bien o no, y saludos desde Inglaterra. Hoy el tema es por qué es importante acostumbre a nosotros a nuestra voz. ¿Por qué es tan importante? So ese es el tema de hoy. So, hello again from England. So the theme of today's video is getting used to your voice, getting used to the way you sound, and getting comfortable with your voice and how it is, how it works for you. Because the happier we are, or the more accustomed we are to how we sound, hopefully the more confident we'll be that when we are speaking, it's a good sound, people can understand clearly, and we don't need to be, too shy about speaking. And we know that it's going to be clear, and we can use our voice in different situations with confidence. But to do that, as well as practicing things like reading aloud, so we're happy that we can say the words, it's also to be conscious of how we sound. We talked about this in other videos when we talk about tone of voice, how fast we speak, like our rhythm of speech, being careful we put the right kind of emphasis on different words as we read. And all of these are part of that technique. But one thing I have found with lots of my students and other people I've spoken to is for many people, either they don't know how they sound or they feel very self-conscious about their voice, about how they sound. Now, I have to admit, the first time I heard my voice recorded, I was quite shocked. I didn't realise I sounded like that. I had a different perception of what I thought I sounded like. Why do I sound like that? But there we are. So how do we get past that sense of shock, and how can we make this a good thing, that we know how we sound? Well, clearly, lots of reading aloud is going to help you a lot, because this lets you concentrate on the words you're reading, try different ways of reading the same sentence. You get a sense of where your breathing works better, how you get a nice flow in the reading, where you should pause, where you want to put emphasis, things like that. Yeah. But as well as that, something else to practice to actually record your voice. If you're too frightened to spend too long recording, like I'm going to read out loud for 3-4 minutes, I'm going to record the whole thing. If you think that will be too terrifying an idea, start with something small. Answer phone messages. Probably you have one on your voicemail you can record to say something like, hello, this is Graham, I'm not here now, please leave your number. These kind of things. Record that. Start something small like that. See how that sounds. Other things to consider is when you get to leave an answer phone message, how will you do it? This is a good place to start, because often with an answer phone message, we weren't expecting to leave an answer phone message. Now, we ring up to speak to the person and we get voicemail. Leave your message after the beep. Beep. And then we call, because we hadn't thought about that. So that's something to prepare perhaps in advance, so you get some idea of what you need to say. But if you're confident with how your voice sounds and you practice that kind of thing, these kind of situations will have less terror for you. It'll be much easier for you to do it. So that's my challenge for you through this weekend. When you're doing your practice, whatever that is, whether you're doing general sort of reading, you're going to try and read aloud, do some more practicing like that, record some of it. Record some of it so you get to see how you sound. This is useful because as you progress and you get more confident and you're better able to read things, you can go back, listen to how you were before. And this is why reading reading aloud is useful because you can use exactly the same words. You can read something now, record that, go back to that another month, 2-3 months' time, see how you've improved, see how the sound of that improves. And then when you get good at that and you're able to do that quite comfortably, then you can start looking at things like how you project your voice if you're in a larger room, for instance. So let's say you have to give a presentation and you're no longer speaking to someone at sort of close distance, but now you have to speak in front of maybe 10, 20 or more people. How do you do that without shouting? Something else to practice. But in all cases, the more familiar you are with how you sound and getting to a place where you feel comfortable with that, so when you hear yourself you're not shocked, it will help your confidence tremendously, and this will help you to be more relaxed when you're speaking. So lots of the other problems you sometimes get when people aren't understanding you well is because you are too tense. You're not speaking clearly, you're trying to I don't want to speak because my voice is too quiet, or I'm trying to speak really fast to tell them everything because then I don't have to speak anymore. And then people can't understand you because you're speaking too fast. So to try and get more relaxed with how you sound, listen to it. Find out what other people hear. Then you've got a chance to adjust it. That's my challenge for this weekend. Whatever bit of reading practice you're doing, or speaking practice, record some of it, listen back to it. Might be a shock if you've not done that before, but remember, this is a reference for you to go, okay, look, I sound like this. I'd rather sound a bit more like that. You can be critical about it, not necessarily in too bad a way, but you can say, look, I'm speaking too fast, or my voice is too quiet. Things like that. Look at it, gives you a way to improve it. That's my challenge. So, déjame saber en los comentarios, como siempre. But for now, we'll say cheerio.